The Beyond the Fame podcast is fed by Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza never cuts corners. For menu and locations, visit LidoPizza.com. And of course, this podcast would not be possible without our longtime title sponsor, the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. Join us for ostrich, zebra, and camel races on the apron Thursday, October 23rd, as well as food trucks, kid raffles, a silent auction, and more. All proceeds will go to the Men Wear Pink campaign to end breast cancer as we know it. Details and tickets at HollywoodCasinoCharlestown.com. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Brilliant country singer-songwriter Cam brings her Slow Down tour to the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia on October 28th. She joined me to discuss her newest album, All Things Light, as well as her career journey from California to Nashville, recording gems like Burning House, Village, Redwood Tree, Till There's Nothing Left, Changes, and Diane, as well as writing a handful of songs on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. This is easily one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, so kick back and enjoy. Hey, Cam, hey, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My wife is seriously your biggest fan of all of your music, and that I learned it all through her. So Matt, got to give credit where credit's due at the beginning.
What's her name?
Ashley Marie. She's a singer herself here in Frederick, Maryland. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Ashley Marie. Okay.
This is where I talk her up. Yeah, she opened for the Dixie Chicks when she. Yeah. Anyway, but
no way, seriously?
Yeah, back in the day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We met at a show of hers. Yeah, I love her. So she's my favorite musician, but I guess you're my favorite musician's favorite musician.
All right. That's the sweetest thing ever.
We are talking because the genius singer-songwriter Cam is coming to the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia on October 28th, and you're calling this the Slow Down tour, right?
Yeah.
So, remember, Dirk Bentley had that Settle for a Slow Down, but what for you? Why is the name fitting for this tour?
I mean, this whole record is like kind of a spiritual reframing for me. I had a baby in the pandemic, and I had my entire view on the world got shifted, as I think a lot of us had that happen. And yeah. I just realized, like, what am I rushing so hard for? You know, is it for the stuff that I like, or is it something that somebody else said I should be wanting and said I should be doing? And so this is like my little mantra to myself, like, just slow down.
So it's that old, like, Alabama, I'm in a hurry to get things done. I don't know why. So it's
That's right.
All right. Yeah.
It all traces back to Alabama.
Yeah, everything, right? Of course. And one day other artists will say everything traces back to Cam. Seriously. But yeah, I guess so as you're saying, yeah, pandemic, your 5-year-old daughter Lucy asking some curious toddler questions. And all that comes together in your most recent album that came out earlier this summer, right?
Yes.
It's called All Things Light. So is that mostly what you're going to be playing in this show? I'm sure you'll sprinkle in some of the hits too. But
yes. Isn't that a funny? It's always a thing. I always think when I go to one of my favorite artists, I want to hear the new album, but I also really want to hear my favorite songs from other albums. So it's such a funny, it's a funny kind of set list things. But I think I've got the new album, and then I don't know if I want to give all this away, but there's sort of like a transition and a party that happens with all the hits and your favorite stuff that happens in the second half. And so I've got a whole plan for how you will get what you want.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. Say no more. We don't want to spoil it, but there you go. That's enough of a teaser. You'll get all your favorite Cam hits along, but we are going to explore the new album and what you have going on creatively now. So that's great. Well, speaking of, I just want to double back to what you're saying about, being a mom, 5-year-old Lucy. What are some of those, curious toddler questions she's been asking that sparked ideas, or just, if you want to speak generally, just of being a mom, that's enough for, creative material right there.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, we had backyard chickens, and her favorite chicken, Daisy, died out of nowhere, just keeled over. Yes. And it was like, when you have chickens, you start to realize this kind of thing happens. But I was like, oh, this will be so cute. She'll be connected. We'll get the eggs. There's a whole responsibility thing happening. But then when one died, it also was like, oh, this is our first lesson in death. Because she's like, what
Oh,
happens when we die?
yeah.
And I was not prepared for
You weren't
what to
ready?
say. I wasn't raised in a religion or anything, and I feel like all I was given was like maybe a book about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So it was
Sure.
very vague for me. So I told her our bodies get still and our light goes back to the stars. And I in that moment I feel like it was enough to satisfy my little one in that moment, but I was like, I need to examine some heavy stuff
Yeah.
because I'm going to be the guide for this little soul. Like
Yeah.
I got to have, even if I don't have the answers, I got to have some sort of helpful, bumpers on the bowling lane. I got to have something that's going to help her navigate it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of the beginning of this album, All Things Light. It's kind of a wink because it's not all things light. It is definitely heavy stuff, and it's definitely meant for people who have gone through a valley or are going through a valley
Mm.
and kind of want to hold hands through it. So
Like a light at the end of the tunnel in a way for
yeah,
the dark stuff. All
yes.
right.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that it gives you see the album title, but when hearing you sort of recontextualize it in that way of what inspired you to do it, chicken or the egg, pun not
Yeah.
pun intended, definitely. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But no, like when you recontextualize light at the end of the tunnel, it helps. Yeah, so I don't know, it's a bit of a through line for us listeners. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on motherhood and 5 years old. Bravo.
Thank you. I do feel
Not
like we've
easy.
made it to a new season. I don't feel like it's quite as some people love the babies, and for me, I love them, but whew, that threw me. That threw me for a loop.
I bet. Hey, do you have any advice for us? Because no joke,
Oh
next
my
month.
gosh. You guys. Well, first off, it won't be during a pandemic, so you're gonna be golden. Remember to enlist the help of family that you like or friends that you like and don't
Songwriters we like.
yeah, I mean, if you need me, but oh, so yeah, when is it gonna be? Near the show date. Maybe I will swing on by, give you guys a little gift.
Well, it's supposed to be Halloween. So yeah, your show will be right in between when it's
Yeah,
supposed to happen. Yeah.
so cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say like don't think that you got to do it all by yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's how humans were supposed to do it, is a
Yeah.
big group and
Yeah.
just enlist people. Say like, I need you to wash my dishes and I need you to bring me some food. And it's hard for a
Will
lot of
do.
people to do. Yeah.
Well, we really aren't doing it ourselves because we have a surrogate we're working with in Iowa because my wife had uterine cancer. She's doing good now. I know that
Oh,
sounds
oh my
depressing. There's a happy
gosh.
ending at the end of this picture.
No, I mean
But
all my
yeah.
music's depressing. I live there. You
Yeah.
can't
But the
possibly
light that you're
depress
saying,
me.
the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
uterine cancer
excited.
and emergency IVF before
Oof,
his and then
girl.
now a surrogate and yeah, and so our miracle baby is coming next month
Oh,
around the
so
time that you're playing Birchmere.
are you gonna stay in Iowa then to kind of buffer the travel, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, we're throwing the dog in the car. Me and my wife, the dog, gonna drive all the way from Maryland all the way to Iowa,
Yes.
and just get like an Airbnb for like a month. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
Yes.
anyway, we'll be listening to a lot of Cam on the way, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited for you guys.
Absolutely. But thank you and congrats on Lucy and raising her. That's how we
Oh
got
my
on.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for you guys to be at the 5-year mark too. You're gonna love it.
Awesome. We'll compare notes at that point. You come back to Birchmere
Deal.
5 years from now. All right.
Deal.
But let's promote the show and the Birchmere on October 28th. I think you're going to be there between Phil Vassar's there like 2 days before you and
Oh,
Kathy
no
Mateus two,
way.
2 days after you. So that's country songwriting genius right there.
Yes, he actually helped write on my first album on a
Oh,
song called
yeah.
Want It All. I love Phil.
And sort of like your career, he wrote a ton of stuff for other people that are his.
Yes.
And then he, before his breakthrough, and then when he goes to his concerts, he can be like, actually, I did
I
that one. Yeah. So
know.
you can do the
It's
same.
so
Yeah.
fun. No, I love doing that too.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think it's so fun when it's less of a clear line.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to pick, everyone thinks you got to pick and you don't.
Right.
You can do whatever feels right. Because some songs you think they're amazing, but you're like, it's just not quite for me.
Yeah.
And there is someone it's meant to be with, you
Right.
know?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, we'll get into some of those as we go. I'm going to try to go as best we can chronologically, reminding
Ooh,
folks,
okay.
our listeners of how Cam came to be. So you were born in California in 84. Yeah, props. That's fellow 84
Yes.
baby right here.
Hey.
Hey, 84 represent. But you were growing up like in the San Francisco Bay area-ish, right? Somewhere.
Yes. Yeah.
So paint a picture growing up. Like, what did your folks do? I know your grandparents were on a ranch, but yeah, insights into the Cam household growing up.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah, my grandparents had a ranch in Southern California because till I was 5, we were down there. And
Okay.
then when I was 5, my dad got a job up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And he they both were kind of in construction management. So there was always a remodel or like home project going on at our house, along with going on in their works, And
Any Tim Toolman grunting at your own house?
yeah,
Oh,
pretty much. But they so that's kind of the very cozy suburb that we lived in, and my parents actually bought the house kind of for way cheap because there was a foundational issue
hmm.
and they knew how to fix it because of their construction background, and the real estate agent said, "You can afford the house, but can you afford the lifestyle?"
Whoa.
Because it was actually like a really very great public schools, very kind of nice, affluent neighborhood.
Right.
And my parents made it work. We never felt like we couldn't afford the lifestyle. And it was like it's such a idyllic childhood, to be honest. I loved being a kid. I want to recreate that for my daughter. I have a super close relationship with my sister. And to quote Tom Hanks, when I ran into him at Stagecoach one year, he goes, "Do you ever feel like getting raised in the Bay Area didn't prepare you to live anywhere else?" And I was
Right.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because it's such a cultural pocket that doesn't live anywhere else. And
A special little, let's just say it's very different from Greenbow, Alabama. No.
yes, it's very different from
Yeah.
Nashville. And
Yeah.
I think that was like my superpower and my cross to bear when I got here, is that the things that I thought were very normal and plain were quite spicy for people out here.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. It's sort of a double-edged sword. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
It's your
yeah,
superpower and your cross to bear. But
yeah.
I love it. Well, one more, at least before the Nashville move, like the pre-era of, shaping you. I should ask, what are you listening to at the time? Like what is it mostly country or is it all sorts of
Oh,
stuff?
is growing up?
Yeah, growing
I
up.
mean, my grandparents loved because you know how you kind of listen to what your family listens to when you're
Sure.
younger. So they loved like Patsy Cline, and I just was obsessed with Patsy Cline's voice and
From
Ray
Winchester,
Charles.
Virginia, not far from
Mm,
Birchmere.
come on, I should go. Does she have her house? Is it
There's a house
there?
you can tour it. Yeah,
Okay, I gotta
you
go.
got to do it.
And then in high school there was like, the Chicks and Tim McGraw and Shania Twain, but I would say my like obsession when I found them was the Indigo Girls. Like and like
I love
the
them.
Weepies, and like I loved kind of like this folky mix, which to be honest, they almost are country.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The whole genre thing is a little, messy, but
I love that Barbie introduced a whole new generation to
I
Indigo Girls, right? Right.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. So yeah, I think I also was in choirs growing up, and started a cappella groups. I started one at Davis where I went to college, and I started one in my high school too. So I kind of had a lot of choral background stuff too, and like musical theater soundtracks that I love. So I was kind of all over the place, but I
Wait, what's your
never
musical theater? I gotta ask. What's your go-to from
like
back then?
I love West Side Story. I was
Oh, of course.
obsessed.
The
Yeah,
greatest
the
the whole
greatest.
Sondheim Burns. Yeah, the
I
greatest.
mean,
How
like
do you do
there
it?
are just entire, podcasts about how crazy thought out each of those,
Yeah.
motifs was. And just, I can't get enough of it. And
Well,
then
favorite West Side Story song. I gotta ask that too.
it's when they sing together, like, when love comes so strong, there is
Ah,
no right or wrong.
wrong.
And
Yeah.
it's like, I get chills every time because it's like the dark, boy like that who kill your brother. And then it gets into that. Like, I love those two juxtapositions. There's like also in a choral sense that we sang Verdi's Requiem. We went to Italy and sang in St. Paul's outside the
Yeah.
walls with high school choir, and there's like that, dee, like there's a whole like Dies Irae, like dark you probably heard it in movie soundtracks,
Yeah, yeah,
like are super dark. And then there's like these beautiful, like when you get to like an in paradisum, like high, beautiful,
yeah,
that's when you're thinking about heaven at that point. There's like the conflict and
yeah,
then this beautiful high resolution. And I feel like something about West Side Story has the drama of
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
an old school requiem, you know?
No,
So
yeah.
it's,
Well, it's the light and dark, like you're talking about with your latest album. It's
oh
the
yeah.
it's we're counting on them to be there tonight. It's dark,
Yes.
but then
Yes.
tonight we're
Yes.
romance. Yeah, it's yeah. And
No, and
by the
that's
way,
the
it premiered at National Theater before Broadway. Did you know
come
that?
on. No.
Peter Rivera in DC. Yeah. So you're coming to a cool hotbed with the
Oh,
Berkeley.
I believe it.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe it. No, and that's, I feel like it's so funny when I start making songs. Like I have a song called Hallelujah, where I'm saying it don't sound like Hallelujah anymore, which is a very
Mhm.
dark, kind of a twisted, sort of psychedelic outro. And then I have this Nevermind, which is really high. It's my version of those two, dark and light, you know? And I feel like, isn't
Love it.
that your whole lives? You're just like recycling everything
Yeah.
that's been sort of seeped into your brain since you were a kid.
Absolutely. But that's the human condition. My wife and I always talk about it. Like you were so good at writing for the human condition. And we were
Oh.
one when she found out you were a psychology major at UC Davis, we were like, that makes sense because you're like you master how to capture the psychology of the
Oh,
human condition.
thank
Um,
you. I think I'm obsessed with it as well,
yeah.
where I just, for the longest time, I was like, what should I be, what should I be doing? Who am I? What is my purpose? Which I think a lot of people get into that, but I was like, no, I gotta know. I gotta understand what other people think is their purpose and why we do what we do. And it was like digging into psychology. And then I think even more so when I realized for music, it was like, I think this is going to get at the heart of it more,
What is your
even than
personal legend? I don't
psychology.
know if you ever read The Alchemist, but that's you were debating what your own personal legend is.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So what is the personal legend in The Alchemist?
it's
Because I don't think
basic.
I
No,
remember.
it's just someone seeking to figure out what your purpose in the world is.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
you were saying, is it psychology or is it music? And then you were doing the college a
Yeah.
cappella group. What is it? The Spokes. But then you learned to play guitar, studying abroad, right?
Yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So when did you finally, if you're trying to figure out what that personal legend is, where did you finally like, okay, I'm now gonna put my chips in over here and go the songwriter? Was there like a moment?
Yeah. Yeah, it was I didn't get into psychology graduate school. And I had some other like personal stuff that really just like I was at a dark place. Like I remember thinking, I don't know where I'm going next, and maybe this isn't my life isn't quite on track. And my sister was like, it's crazy you're like good at something and you're not doing that with your life.
Yeah.
She's like, you're a musician. What are you doing? And I went and asked my psychology the gal who was like head of the department that I was like working in and head of the lab that I was working in, Jeannie Sai, and I was like, what do you think I should do? Because I didn't know any musicians to even ask.
Right.
I was like, what do you think I should be doing with my life? So funny how we ask other people to tell us what should we be doing with our lives. And she had a great answer. She was like, picture yourself 80 years old and would you regret missing out on psychology or missing out on music? And
Mm,
it made it super clear. I was like, oh, I should definitely at least give it a swing.
nice.
And I think when I sing, I mean, they say like the way you move your diaphragm and stuff, it like processes your stress hormones and your cortisol. And so you feel better when you sing. I feel better when I sing. And when I'm writing and singing, it's like the closest to kind of like a meditative state for me. Like
It's
a,
therapeutic.
yes. And I feel
Cathartic.
like in line with
Yeah.
like, it doesn't feel like a my thinking brain is trying to figure out what my body's supposed to be doing in this world. It's like shoop, all one thing. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. It's all happening correctly. And like I think that feeling of alignment is my personal legend that I'm
Uh,
chasing.
I
Yeah.
love it. Thanks for quoting that back to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we are, trust me, all of your fans, myself and my wife included, are really glad that you found that alignment and chose to
Oh.
go the music route. It's like because you
Yeah.
sprinkle in the psychology in the music, but the music is the driving force that you were put on this earth to do. I'm sure of
Yeah.
it.
Me
Um,
too. Thank you.
so before the big move to Nashville, you moved to LA first before Nashville, right? Because you're working with Tyler Johnson producing stuff. You write a song for Maggie Rose on it was that album with I Ain't Your Mama, and also Miley Cyrus on the same album as Wrecking Ball, right? So,
Yeah.
what came first? Those writing for other stuff, Phil Vassar style, or was it the indie album Heart Forward, or was that all around the same time?
Yeah. Okay. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do music. And I was still living in the Bay Area. And at this point, I think I was working at the lab at Stanford still and like doing like a waitressing job at night. And I knew one of my friends' husbands was like, I can help you. He was like a manager slash kind of, bass player. And so he kind of was like, we'll make like a record and we'll do some shows. And we got into it. And to be honest, most people, when you first start your career, you first line up with people that are not quite right fit for you,
Yeah.
And he ended up not being a great human being, but that was still the beginning, And
Right.
I played my first shows in the with the indie record in San Francisco, and I remember thinking, no one's going to show up to this. Everyone's going to be like, go get a real job, And my community totally showed up for me. They were so tickled that I was doing this. It was so sweet, and everybody was so supportive. And so I was like, okay, I should really be giving this a shot. And I actually moved for 6 months to Portland first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Right
retired
north.
young in Portland. Yeah, two of my best friends were up there, and he was the only musician I really knew. So we would kind of like practice making songs in his basement, and it was really fun. And in that time, an ex-boyfriend of mine was, I was dating him at this time, and he was roommates with Tyler Johnson, who
Okay.
is my musical brother, who now, 10, 12 years later,
Yeah.
I've done almost everything with him, like
Still going
co-writes
strong.
for
Yep.
other people. Yeah. And so I ended up being like, okay, nothing really is happening in Portland in the way that I need it to. I should move to LA. So I moved to LA. We started writing stuff, and I thought, there's no way I could possibly be an artist. Like I thought to myself, that's just too hard. So I'll just be a songwriter, which being a songwriter is actually extremely hard as
Yeah.
well. But I think it was kind of this humble pie, like I don't know that I want to be in the spotlight type um like I wasn't the lead in the musical growing up, so I was in the choir background. I should
Okay.
just be in the background still. I should
Just
I should
snapping
not.
in the background of what.
Yes, yeah. So Tyler was like got invited by someone to submit songs for Faith Hill. And again, in your early stages of your career, people show up with these opportunities that aren't fully real,
Yeah.
but we didn't know, so we spent like all the money we had to make these demos. It did not go anywhere to Faith Hill, but a friend of a friend of a friend of a cousin type thing was like, I know Maggie Rose, and we want to pitch one of these songs to her. And I was like, yes, let's do this. This is my whole, and I was like, and I'm gonna move to Nashville because this is like, I've made it.
Yeah.
And your first song deal is gonna be horrific terms, no money,
But foot in the door.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but then I was like, I'm doing it. I'm moving to Nashville, and we're gonna make a record. And I know everyone's gonna underestimate me, but I'd rather we make a record with a Kickstarter with Tyler. He was working for Jeff Basker at the time, who's like an incredible producer, like legend. So like the access to Jeff meant he was basically our mentor, like could teach us how to do things, could help us with these records. We wrote Burning House together, the three of us. And it yeah, kind of snowballed from there. We did some meetings in Nashville and in New York, like to get signed. And I was like, this is like, I feel like later in life, everybody's always like, you got to break by 21. And this was like, I think I didn't get signed till like 28, 29.
There's no timetable. But that's
No
because you have your
timetable.
Bay Area superpower. Yeah.
Yes, that's
The
right.
Bay Bridge. You're good at writing bridges of the songs from the Bay.
Ah, I love that.
Golden Gate Bridge songs. Yeah. Anyway.
That's right. And I mean, people responded,
Yeah.
like the guy who was the head of Sony in New York was like singing along to Burning House by like the second chorus. And it was
Ah,
like, there it is.
yeah.
It was one of those pinch me moments of like, we want to sign you. Let's go for it.
That's so
So,
awesome. So that's Sony that you're talking about. Arista
yes,
Nashville.
Sony.
Their subsidiary.
Yeah, the Nashville side of it was so funny. I went around to and they all were like, no, I don't know. This is how Nashville works. It's very like, maybe later, like do some more showcases for us. And then
Yeah.
New York was like, no, we're gonna do it.
New
So
York, we're all in. Sony,
yeah,
sign it.
super
Yeah.
fast. Yeah, get her
Love it.
signed before she
I
walks
love
out
it.
the door.
So this is just to catch our listeners up. This is like 2015-ish, and
Yes.
that year you have it's a breakthrough. It's you do the EP Welcome to Cam Country, but then also
Hmm.
like the first big major album release Untamed,
Hmm.
and it has those a couple great singles. Like we don't have time to go into all of them, but My Mistake about One Night Stand, Woman's Perspective, Mayday about a deteriorating relationship. You always have cool songs, but we really should go into the one that you mentioned, Burning House, the triple platinum.
It just went 4 times
Oh, four
platinum.
times platinum. So it's quadruple platinum.
Quadruple. Yeah.
Massive hit, Grammy nomination. Go into
Yeah.
the inspiration. I know a lot of your fans already know this, but maybe if there's some newcomers to the Cam
Yes.
legend here, was it really inspired by a dream about
It
rescuing your
was a
boyfriend?
dream I had when I was living in Portland. See, now you know the story.
Yeah,
So I was
okay.
up there and right after college, I had worked in this Nepalese restaurant. I made friends with all these Nepalese people and they were like, go visit. And I went out to Nepal and my boyfriend at the time was meant to come meet me there. And I fell in love with a guru while I was out there. Not a Nepalese guy. I don't want to give Nepalese people a bad name. It was another from someplace else. And he ended up being every Netflix doc you've seen about cults and gurus, spot on. Definitely don't go for gurus.
Don't fall for the guru.
Yes, but I broke up with my boyfriend, college boyfriend, who was supposed to come meet me like the day before he was supposed to come fly
Oh
to
no.
meet me there because I left him for this guru. And like it was not how you treat someone you care about, even if you don't want to be with them. So fast forward like 2 years later, I'm living in Portland and I was going to see him at this house party our friends of friends were all having. And the night before, I was like, ooh, how do I like address this and apologize? It was, that wasn't handled correctly, not to get back together, but just to like say I'm sorry. And that night I went to bed. You know how you've got it all on your mind, fell asleep, and I dreamt about this house on fire and I'm running towards it. And my college boyfriend, is in the house and the firemen are like, you can't go in there. He's trapped. It's about to come down. And I
Wow.
get in there, I find him, and instead of like, I can't get him out. And instead of leaving and saving myself, I laid down next to him, put my arms around him so he wouldn't have to die alone.
So the two of you
Like,
burnt to death in the dream.
yes. Is this
Wow.
dramatic or
That is
what?
your
The
conscience
guilt.
working on you.
Yes. No, and I met this girl who, over the years, like I met someone at the merge table, in one of those early shows. She was like, I've been having the same dream and I've been going to therapy for it. And I was
Whoa.
like, oh my God, save me the money and tell me what she told you. And she says, there's something in your past that you cannot fix.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the burning house.
that's the burning house metaphor is that
Metaphor.
there's something in your life you can't fix. It's either in the past or it's in someone else's control and you have to come to terms with it.
Wow. Your
Yeah.
subconscious in dream state is working on you.
Yes, right?
That's why it's epic. That's why it's a quadruple platinum selling
Yeah,
song
that's
because
right.
it was based on your personal story, but
Yeah.
everyone has those personal,
Things
regrets,
they can't
etc., that they're
fix.
working through. And so
Yeah,
we've been eating up all your fans have been eating up that song and
I
Grammy
know.
voters apparently.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, well, maybe time for one more on that album. I have to ask you about the final track on that album. It absolutely wrecks me and my wife. We're just a puddle of tears. Village.
Yeah.
Um, it's I'll try not to cry even saying this, but I know it was about a friend Claire losing her older brother. I think in an
Yeah.
avalanche, but you sing it from the perspective of the brother like a guardian angel. Um,
Yeah.
and we can't play the song because of copyright, but I'll give me a second. I'll quote the lyrics for newcomers. So it's Claire, don't you dare believe them. I'd never leave you alone. I've been watching over you like older brothers do since the day you were born. Um, your whole heart's a village. Everyone you love has built it. I've been working there myself, and that's where I'll be with a front row seat to watch you live your life well. I mean, come on, the tears. Oh
I
gosh.
know.
All right,
It's
well,
making me tear up.
you wrote it. It's genius. I guess yeah. Remind our listeners of the actual backstory of who Claire and the brother were.
Yeah. So Claire was one of my best pals, is one of my best pals, but since like fourth grade. When we started high school, her older brother was a senior and we were freshmen, so he like drove us to school. And I remember just like he was just the coolest. Like everybody thought Chris was like, I don't, like people always like hype people up after they die, and it's like maybe questionable. This is like so real. He actually was the coolest. Like everybody loved him. He was friends with everybody. He just was like such a charming human. And so he would drive us to school, and I remember he'd like blast Rage Against the Machine, and I was just like, my little mind was like getting
Dun,
blown,
dun, dun. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I was like, he's so cool,
He's so cool. Yeah.
And yeah, there was an accident when he was the youngest person I knew, like actually knew, that passed away. And so it was very sudden. I did not know how to process it. And it just immediately made me realize, like, if I can't process this, how is Claire gonna process this? And I remember spending some time with her kind of right afterwards, and she just was full of all the things. You're just so angry that they are gone, and also just so heartbroken, and all the feelings she was going through. And I just was like, I don't know how to help, but I know how to write a song. So I was gonna try and write it with other people, and there's like tiny bits of help from friends, but really I just had to kind of sit by myself, cry it out, and say what I think Chris would want to be telling her, and what I would want to tell my younger sister. And yeah, I sent it to them before it came out, and her parents and her, and I know it meant a lot to them. It was heavy probably to listen to all that. And yeah, it was really special that we had like a little, she was 8 months pregnant at the time when this happened. So we set up a little thing so that so that money that was kind of coming in off that song is like a little fund we got to give to her little babe.
Aw, a little
Yeah.
philanthropic, charitable donation to the
Yeah, because it
newborn
feels
child.
weird. Yeah, it feels weird when I know he's so big now. It
No,
feels
yeah.
so weird that when you write songs that are being pulled from real life, and especially like a sad thing like that, it's like it doesn't really feel like it's your money.
Mm.
So, but that song, it's amazing. You wouldn't believe how many Claires who've lost their brothers too, actually, that like reach
Oh,
out to me.
oh,
But people who've lost anybody, it's
anybody.
such a sweet moment in the show. I feel like such a jerk saying this, but I know I've done my job when everyone's just crying. We're all
No, it's
crying
good. It's
together
good.
singing
It's
this song.
cathartic tears because those tears have
Yeah.
been cried about the lost ones already. You're not causing
Yeah.
those tears. Your tears are helping us all through those losses. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a
So
good way to put it.
the ones we've lost, people you've lost over to your grandparents, whatever, it's
Yeah.
we're all helping you live your life well.
Oh, that's so
Ah,
sweet.
anyway. All right. Now that we're all totally crying here. um, I want to go to the next album, The Other Side, 2020. I think the whole damn thing is a masterpiece. And again,
Oh.
shout out my wife for playing these all the time around the house. I love this album. The lead off track, specifically Redwood Tree, is so nostalgic. Um, folks, if you've never heard it, just imagine returning to your childhood home and in the yard, and here you sing to the redwood tree. You say, "Oh, redwood tree, don't you recognize me? I know it's not much time for you, but it's decades for me." And you talk about having to leave and then you're coming back. And the line that always makes me cry, again, thanks, Cam, you're always making us cry.
Yes.
The line that always gets me is, "I saw the world and you saw my parents grow old. You've got your roots and I've got the wind in my soul. Don't know what you have when you're young, but you'll know what you had when it's gone." So many of us can relate to that. Was it an actual moment for you? Did you go pay a visit to a redwood?
Yeah, I had a redwood tree in my backyard that was my climbing tree as a kid. And it was like I loved it. I loved being up there, and I could climb enough to see out, and was just, dreaming about all the places I was gonna go. And it's so funny because there you are. The reason you can, I don't know, dream about all this is because like from the same vantage point I could see, my mom in the kitchen, like making dinner, and
Oh,
like it was so cozy and
was it
that
a tree fort
childhood.
or just mostly the branches?
No, just climbing up, and there was a good kind of two branches where you could sort of sit your legs on one and
Right.
grab your arms over the other one. So
Yeah.
you didn't have to work too hard. You kind of just hang out up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just I think especially in this career, you start we're kind of like truckers or like circus people. We're just like out. We're not there for a lot of family stuff. And it is a a sacrifice you're making. And I think you realize this as you get older, you just can't be everywhere at once. And
Yeah.
some of the things you do for you and some of the things you do for your family and how to find the right balance of all that. But this was kind of coming to terms with like how I was missing things back
Yeah.
home and how I didn't want to be doing that anymore. And I think now I'm on the other side of it where I have this kid and all I want to do is be home with her.
Yeah.
And
Let
that's
her climb her own tree. Yeah.
yes. And this slow down tour, I mean, like
Yeah.
they were like, let's do 20 shows. Everyone's gonna hate me for this. But let's do 20 shows in the US and 20 shows in Europe. And I was like, no,
No.
I don't want to do it. I love being with people, but also I love being with my baby.
I'm doing the Birchmere and that's it. No, I'm just
That's
kidding.
right. I mean, that would be it. But it
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Because
this
birch is a type of tree. That's the only reason. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
I like that.
my wife showed me that your song because it was right around the time that her childhood tree that she had her tree fort in here in Maryland. It fell down in a lightning storm, and so she was kind of
No.
processing. She wrote a song called Tree Fort, but processing sort of what those childhood memories, like you're saying.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I gotta
Um,
go listen to that after this.
really? Yeah. Well, you'd probably find it on Instagram.
Yeah, tree
um,
fort. I gotta know.
Yeah. Oh, she will be amazed if she's got some bangers after bangers. All right. So Redwood Tree, amazing. Everyone has to listen to it. It's off the other side. That album also has Till There's Nothing Left.
That's right.
A fun one. Remind us what you're going for. Obviously, it's like giving everything you've got to another person. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned making love in the backseat, but it could be a relationship in general, just giving it all.
Yes, I love that. Although I do have to say yeah, disappearing into somebody else, you love them so much, physically, mentally, spiritually. But there is more like on the nose, like in the back seat. It is definitely, there's a physical side to it. And I remember when I was cutting the vocals, I was like, kind of started to get like embarrassed a little bit, I was like, which I mean, I would say the
Yeah.
guys are singing about it and they're not embarrassed
Yeah.
at all.
And then Chapel
But
Roan a couple years later singing more than
I
that. So you're
know,
good.
yeah,
You're good. It's
exactly.
tame. Yours is tame.
Yeah. Well, but I was realizing my grandmother, she's the one who gave me the sex talk when I was like 12 or something. And she goes, Cameron Marvel. Her name was Marvel, and my middle name's Marvel.
Okay.
Cameron Marvel, sex is like a milkshake. Once you have it, you're always gonna want it. And
Yeah.
it reminded me, I was like, she's like a, farmer's daughter, like, and just born in the 30s. And
Yeah.
she could talk about sex
Depression
like it was,
era. Yeah.
yeah, like
Wise
it was,
sage.
she's a she's a salt of the earth kind of human, and like sex wasn't anything to be blushing about anyways for her. So I was like, what am I doing? Just own it.
Put it out there in the song. Well,
Yeah,
it's a catchy song
it
above
is a
all.
good one.
I mean, literally the whole. We could go into so many songs. But I know we don't have time. You've been generous, so I'll kind of maybe I'll rattle off a couple in a row and figure out which one I want to talk about. um, the title track, "Other Side," you co-wrote with the late Avicii. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
classic. I love is you co-wrote with Jack Antonoff. I love that picking up some Lucky Strikes, leaning on the wall outside. Just great visual storytelling about a throwback era. Um, maybe let's talk about changes because that I know Harry Styles and Laurie McKenna and some great co-writers, but I love that it's sort of all about like the lost innocence of youth. God bless the young hearts sipping cheap wine, getting drunk with their friends for the first time, thinking nothing's gonna change till everything changes.
Yeah. And it
The innocence.
wasn't even a co-write. This barely ever happens for me. I heard this song and I was like, I know this feeling when you've almost outgrown your hometown, and you've like, who are you at this point? Because you don't quite fit there, and but going someplace new is going to be scary. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I felt like I knew that immediately when I heard it. So, and I think Laurie McKenna is just one of the greatest songwriters of all time. So, and obviously, I think Harry is incredibly talented. It's still his whistle on that track too, which is,
Wow.
yeah, so fun to try and recreate live, which, I always try and whistle that part, and I get like a 7 out of 10.
Harry Styles' whistle is hard to recreate. Yeah,
It
that's
is,
great.
yeah. So it was, and then obviously Tyler, my musical brother. So it's such a beautiful, yeah, very, that kind of nostalgia that hurts a little bit.
So when you say it's not even a co-write, what do you mean? Like it was fully
They did
formed?
it.
Okay, so you
They
recorded
they did
there,
the
all
whole
there. They
thing.
were a
Yeah.
co-write, but you weren't in
Hmm.
on that one.
Exactly.
Okay. All
which
right.
is
Well,
not normal for me because
no.
I think it's music to me is like a really it's a tough career path to be doing, and like the writing is the most like satisfying thing.
Yeah.
So I don't even like giving up that control of
Yeah.
that part of it. But then if something is so perfectly matched,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, so there's been a handful over the years
Yeah.
where it's
Well,
somebody else's.
yeah, there's a couple handfuls that other people write, but for the most part, you write your own stuff, which is what I love. And there's been great singers over the years, obviously throughout music history, that obviously record other people's songwriting. That's
Yeah, I would say most
most stuff.
usually.
But
Yeah.
to me, you always rise another level, and I mean, to me, that's what's cool about Taylor Swift, honestly, and people like you, like you write your own stuff, and it's like a filmmaker that writes their own script. It's so rare that the writer director makes the movie, or that you write,
Yeah.
and so like, I think that elevates you above some of the other pop stars, in my
Oh,
opinion. You know.
thanks. I mean, I think you're so right. It definitely it's sometimes it makes you can get like a little kind of ping-pongy in your own head about what hat you're wearing at the time. Like, is this the
Right.
writer that it maybe needs to stop tinkering, or is this the artist that needs to take it by singing it a certain way? Or
Right.
yeah, like as you're sort of like self-producing this whole thing, how can you make that how can you make all these different emotive directions and different sounds make sense on a project?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's you get lost in it. That's why it take 5 years to make albums sometimes.
It's good. Take the time. Let it take the time it takes. Well, one more on that album, and our segue is because you're talking about singer-songwriters. One of the greatest to ever do that is Dolly Parton. The fact that she writes the songs herself. I
I
mean, come
know.
on, that's next level.
Unreal.
And you know where I'm going with this because you do Diane, which is a genius response to Dolly Parton's, iconic Jolene. Jolene, please don't take my man. You flip it where what you are the other woman. I promise I didn't
Yes.
know he was your man. I would have noticed the gold wedding band, Diane. Are you listening to Dolly's song and you're like, wait a minute, inspiration, light bulb moment? I'm gonna flip it, or what? How'd it come to you?
Honestly, it was a friend's parents that had a really difficult breakup when she was a kid. And her mom never got the apology in real life. That was
Okay.
like, and it's something that and it just it reminded me, obviously the Jolene being like a format that I could flip as a reference, but it was like it's like how songwriters get to, which all of us music filmmakers or everybody, we get to make up stories that help heal people, and it didn't quite happen in real life. We get to do the same. It's like an exorcism or something that happens, and like I just was like I think I can write this for her, and give her what I will be the other woman, and she will be hearing this, in a way that's like, obviously I didn't say this is for you, but
Right, right.
her and all these other women that never got to hear something like that, I'll take on this character role and give her that. And but the thing is, it's such a like up tempo. Like Jeff Basker, who now we all know, the
Yeah.
producer from the very beginning, who's like our mentor and has done like, Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, and Kanye West, and Beyonce, and Rihanna, and
May
Everybody's
may have heard of
Fun.
it. May have heard of
Yes,
it.
yes, huge. He sat down at the piano and played that, bum 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 blah blah blah. Like he
Yeah.
had the melody that was happening, and I was like, oh, this is a special melody. This needs to be so important. And it was like in my tummy, like, what if it's, this call out of like, actually, to be honest, it was Joanne at first. And then he was like,
Ah.
no, Lady Gaga has Joanne, so we got to do something else.
Oh,
And then
only
it
for
was,
that reason. Okay, I got you.
yeah, but now I can't picture anything else besides Diane. Like, what a
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Diane! It's such a, yeah, it's such a release yelling it, everybody at
Yeah.
the shows. It's
Yeah.
so fun. If you all, whoever's listening, if you get to come to the show, we yell that part.
You
Everybody
will
yells
be
that part.
performing Diane at the Birchmere.
Yes,
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
guaranteed, guaranteed.
I love it. No, it's epic. It's epic. And I can tell you are the mother of a 5-year-old daughter because as you're describing this really serious thing, you said I felt it in my tummy.
Yeah, so real.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
You will
Winnie
you
the
will
Pooh
join the
type language.
ranks.
Yeah. I love
Yes.
it.
No, you start telling people like at dinner with full adults, you're like, I'm gonna go potty. I'll
I'm
be
gonna go
right
potty
back.
now. No, I'm totally just kidding. It's hilarious. But I guess Jolene provides the perfect segue into the Beyonce stuff because she did cover
Yeah.
Jolene on her country themed inspired album, Cowboy Carter, smash. I mean, everyone knows it at this point. But you actually, let's remind folks, you wrote 5 songs on that album. It was what, American
Yes. And
Requiem
produced
oh,
too.
sorry, not sorry. Let me
Yeah.
take
No,
it.
I mean, it's so
Produced
fun.
it.
I'm just
Yeah.
so tickled.
Yeah. American Requiem, Daughter, Protector, Tyrant, and Amen.
Yes.
Um, that's a huge honor. Everyone knows Beyonce as the superstar, the persona, the diva, all, the
Yes.
singer, all that pop star. But what do we not know about behind the scenes? Like, what makes her such like a genius to collaborate with musically? That
Oh,
we
I
can't.
mean, in my opinion, the fact that you could be in her shoes this many years, this many accolades, this many accomplishments into her career. And I would just assume the most of the norm you see is people just recreating their hits and
Right.
cruising out into the sunset, playing gigs that are, kind of like safe, playing it
Right.
safe. And the thing about Beyonce to me is that she decided she's still making art that is pushing boundaries, obviously, all the buttons she pushed with this one, and while re-educating everyone
Mhm.
about this culture, the history. I mean, like seeing the show too is just mind-blowing. The visuals and everything, the storytelling, um, which is something that like when you're in country music, you know it a little bit more, but not everybody knew this. And she took this to everybody to explain, you know what I mean, like the
Yeah.
Black country experience and the Black country history. It
The
was
roots
just,
behind the genre. Yeah,
oh,
like in the Ken
it
Burns
just
documentary, they show the Black country
yeah.
roots. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it just there's so much to it and she I think did such a beautiful job then she just took so many pieces of it where she does these like it's just like you're looking into one of those kaleidoscopes and you're like this
Yeah.
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful and she didn't have to stay within the rules of the genre rules which are
Yeah.
obviously all made up anyways
Yeah.
to then tell this story.
Yeah.
She got to color outside any lines because she felt like it because she was making art for
Yeah.
everyone to now. And she it's so interesting. She doesn't even like tell you what you're supposed to feel about it either.
Right.
I feel that way when I watch her release all this stuff because you could over explain it
Yeah.
because she is kind of like giving you like an entire history lesson. And instead it's like she makes something and makes it so well and then she performs it for you
Yeah.
and that is just it's so I know I'm waxing poetic about Beyonce and I realize that seems somewhat self-absorbed but I with even if I wasn't on this project I would be saying the same things it's so important I think
Yeah.
culturally for people that are artists to be doing their job as an artist
Yeah.
and I that's what makes me so motivated to do my art is seeing artists who do it like that. So I think
Yeah.
that's it just was fantastic. It felt so good to watch that get the recognition I thought it deserved.
So well said. Because there's nothing safe about it. And it becomes this
No.
kaleidoscopic thing that you're talking about. It's a concept album experience as you're listening to it. I mean, yes, you have the big, radio hits like This Ain't Texas, Who Hold 'em, or 16 Carriages. There's the big ones that popped out as, it became hits. But you really have to experience Cowboy Carter as like a concept album. And it's going, even like the little stuff in between the songs where it's like the
Yeah,
little
like Linda
radio and it's
Martell
picking,
talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's picking up like Willie Nelson talking or introducing the
Yeah.
next song. It's a kaleidoscopic experience. I'm glad you used that word. It's nothing safe about it.
No,
Uh,
I love it. And that's just, I mean, that's where I get so tickled about because I feel like as you get older and what I've been kind of like hopefully the through line through all this is I think
yeah,
you start taking more chances, you stop doing it for like other people's reasons, and that's if I'm gonna spend time, away from my family, I want it to be intentional and I want to be making something that, is in alignment with who I am and my purpose and what my
yeah,
little personal legend is for being here. So I think the older you get, the better able you are, just
yeah,
like your craft is better. And then I think you really sharpen your intention with like, okay, I know everyone thinks you get into this to just be, I don't know. I think everybody's like, they think it feels very ego driven to
I'm
like
gonna
want
be
to
rich and
be,
famous. No, that's not
yes.
what
And
it's
they're
about.
all
We're
going to
going
know my
beyond the fame
name.
here.
Yes. And I mean, honestly, I think that's why my album cover, why I was so drawn to this faceless idea is like, this
Ah,
is my light you see coming through
mm,
that I think exists in everyone. Because it's like I dreamt myself to the center of all things light is in the very first line of this album.
yeah,
But also, it's just not about me.
yeah.
And always, my dream from being really young, like thinking I wanted to be in music, like I actually always wanted to be good enough that no one would care what I look like. Like, and
Ah,
I think that's like when you've made it, like I know that we're such like an image-based
yeah.
society and we're obsessed with the showmanship
Right,
of it
right, right.
all, but like I just, to me, like music is almost like I just want to like close my eyes and be like curled up in a little ball and then be surrounded by it. And
Faceless, yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's why I like radio and podcasting and all this stuff because it's like you can invent your own images in your head as you're
yeah,
listening
yes,
to you know what I mean? And it's thank you for joining us on Zoom.
oh
Not
yeah,
knocking that. It's gonna
you
make for
gotta
great
do
Instagram reels and YouTube.
the
But there is something to be said about, that audio experience, So,
hmm
wow, this was a deep conversation, and thanks for we've
yay,
mixed in personal legend about 5 times, so that's
I
fantastic.
know, no, it's so real.
Yeah. Wow. This was great. Seriously, I can't thank you enough.
Oh, I mean, it's so fun to talk about. I really appreciate you like knowing so much about this. This sounds like this is a small tangent, but like the world is just changing, and like
Yeah.
people, there used to be a time where everybody was like, I want to deep dive into my job and know
Yeah.
what's going on and have, because it makes for such fun conversations. Because
I think
you know
so.
what I'm talking about. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. We have a good, but yeah, it's actually you're definitely a unicorn. Like
Oh.
this is not a normal setup. So I really appreciate it. It's really
Well, I
fun to
appreciate
do.
it. Thank you for saying that. But again, I always got to give credit where it's due. My wife is the unicorn.
Yeah, she's
Just
your research
yeah.
research team.
All right, folks, you got to come see the artistry, the genius singer-songwriter that is Cam. You're going to see it live and in person at the Birchmere in Alexandria, Virginia on October 28th. You have to get the tickets, everybody, and you should try to check out the Patsy Cline stuff if
Oh
somewhat
yeah.
nearby if you can. So.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
Seriously, thank you so much for such a wide-ranging conversation. Didn't know we'd go, about an hour. This has been fantastic going through all your albums. Thank
Yay.
you
Oh,
so,
it's
so
been
much.
so nice talking it through too. You kind of forget about all the things you've done. So it's
Yeah.
nice.
And
Yeah.
there's going to be even more, coming ahead.
Yeah.
So we can't wait to see what you do next. Seriously.
Aw, thank you. And good luck with the babe. I'm so excited for you guys.
Oh, yeah. By the time you play, it may or may not have been born. We don't know. And we don't know if it's a boy or girl. We're purposely surprised. So we'll see.
Yes. Enjoy that.
Thank you so much. And all the best to you and Lucy and motherhood. And yeah, congrats.
Thank
Parenting,
you.
as I'm sure we're about to find out, it's not easy. So congrats.
Not easy, but also the best club in the entire world. You're gonna love it and cry every now and then.
There's your next album, the best club in the entire world. Parenting.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
thank you so much. Seriously, this was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, be well. See ya.
See ya. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.